one of the things I was curious about when I was starting out trying to learn watchmaking was what what it was actually like to do it. For example, I watched a lot of restoration videos where it was just close-ups of the watch movement and kind of clips of people pulling things out and putting things back in, and I found that really interesting. But I was also like, well, what's really going on behind this? You know, what if you could see everything? So what happened was I bought a watch. I bought a watch that's a Valgine. Valgine is a watchmaker in the Valley du Joux, and the watch was fully assembled when I bought it, but I opened it just to check it, and the movement was drenched in oil, and the oil was running onto the day and date discs and onto the dial. So I just took it apart immediately and cleaned up the oil so that it wouldn't continue to do harm to the dial and day and date discs. But now I want to clean it and put it back together. This is the movement that was in it, minus the day disc, which I removed because of the oil problem, but I have it. So the movement is intact. I can't remember if it was working. That's the day disc. So one issue, it's not really an issue, but this is French. And this is a single language day disc. You can see it just repeats seven times around the same thing, which is French. So then just in the last week or so, I found 2789-1, which is the same movement with what looks like an English day disc. I think SUN is only in English, but we'll find that out. So for $20, it's really hard to find just a day disc for these things. So I got this movement. It's an incomplete movement. I bought it from a vendor named Neardan, which I'll talk about in a second. But basically, and then I also had a Ginsbo-matic that was a 2789 that I took apart. It was kind of non-running, and the movement's made out of different movement parts. So that may provide the parts I need to restore the second 2789. So in theory, out of this, I'll have two working 2789s, one in the Valgine watch, and then a second one without a case, although I could put it back in the Ginsbo-matic case. And maybe I will. So, and I have a third one actually. And this is also French. This is a Mirexal, also all stainless steel. And this is kind of a nice watch by itself. There's no reason to involve it in this. I thought I might need to use this for parts. So the thing that gets a little bit complicated as you do this is you start going like, okay, this watch is in this condition. I need these other parts. You look out for the parts for a year. Finally, the parts come on. And then the objective here will be to turn the Valgine into one really nice watch, working, cleaned and restored, and with a English day disc, and then maybe put the other movement together as a separate project. So I wanted to talk about Nerdan for a second. This is a seller on Ricardo. On my website, if you go to shop and then vintage watch and tool auctions, there's a section of vendors on Ricardo, which is a Swiss auction website I use a lot, and Nerdan is one of them. And if you click on those links for any of these, you get their current auctions. So this guy gave me permission to talk about his channel on the in a video, and I bought a bunch of different things from him at this point. And there's a lot of movements reasonably priced. If we sort by price, launch share, movement for 1 franc, movement for 1 franc, movement for 1 franc, 3 francs. These are very tiny movements, a lot of these, but so anyway, it's a great, there's, you know, ETA 1120. I love even just looking at these pictures is great. You learn something every time you study a set of pictures. 5206. And then let's see how many auctions. So he's got like 8 pages of auctions going on right now. Anyway, that's a little plug for Neardan and also my website. And then I'm just gonna try to work on this. If I talk the whole time, then I get nothing done. So I'm just gonna try to shut up and do it, and it'll be one of those ridiculously long videos that nobody watches, but I think there's something interesting about it for a handful of people who are having that same question I had, which was, what happens, you know, what's it like to really do this? What happens with the tools? How much time does it actually take, etc. So for this movement, I need a movement holder. Okay, so I want to, this is my original Valgine movement. I want to flip it. I got to put finger cots on. This is kind of the way I talk to myself, regardless of if somebody's watching or if I'm recording. One thing I noticed, I have these parts, but I'm missing, no, let me look. I was going to say I'm missing the hour hand wheel, but I think they're underneath. I'm not familiar with this movement. The wheels are underneath that plate right there. So nothing's missing except for the dial washer. But I don't even see why you need a dial washer on this. That's your hour wheel. That's your cannon pinion. That's the seconds. This is the indexer for the day wheel. You can still see how much oil there is on this. So I can flip this over. $27.89. One thing about this, I don't see the -1. So let's compare that. This is a line 11.5. This is the right size, I think, for this movement. Yeah. that'll give us a base to disassemble it from. And then I wanted to look at this question of 2789-1. This is the movement I bought from Neardan that's incomplete. And it says 2789-1. See, it's missing the barrel. It's missing the automatic works. But here I have in my parts from the Ginsbo-matic, I have this, which includes a barrel. This is a 2789 without the 1. And this is a 2798 bridge plate. But the bridge plate is on the other one, the 2789-1. I don't recall. Oh, I have two. Okay, let's keep checking this out. I have two oscillating weights here for some reason. This is the one from the Ginsbo-matic, and you can see it's in terrible condition. It had some gears that were just totally rotten, like teeth missing. But let's see if there's a way to confirm that this is the same. Looks like it's the same mechanism. So this one is, where's this from though? If this is from the Ginsbo-matic, maybe this might actually be from, no, this one has the oscillating weight on it. So I'm not sure why I have an extra. But basically the first thing to do is strip this down and clean it. Man, everything's going wrong today. Screwdriver blade fell out for no reason. So let me think about this for a moment. All I really need for this, because I've explained everything, I'm going to need my day wheel from this. Oh, I'm curious. 2789. I'm curious what -1 is. So let's try to figure out the difference between 2789 and 2789-1. Oh, so a starting point for movement research is my links, databases, and or wikis actually. I can't remember which one is the best. Ramp used to be the best. Let's just try that. There was a fellow named Roland Ranf that passed away who had a great website for researching movements, and somebody took all the data off of it and put it on here, which is great because they preserved his work, but it's a little bit less charming. So you have 2789 from 1969, and it was updated in 1976. So let's see if we can figure out what the difference is. Double language is the -1. Double language. Quickset day and date. Double language. Okay, so this may be something. This may be English and French, or English and Spanish or something. And if you look at the 2789 without the 1, where's that? It just doesn't have the double language. It does have quick set day and date. But if I put a double language wheel in, okay, so this is the problem. If I want to restore the Valgine with the 2789-1 with the double language, I can't just change the wheel. I have to use the base movement here. Because otherwise, depending on how the ordering of the double language, or regardless of it, it's going to be the wrong language half the time. And it could be the wrong day all the time too, because of depending on, sometimes they alternate. Sometimes they go Sunday, dimanche, lundi, Monday, lundi, blah, blah, blah. So then it would be like, you remember when I was showing you this one actually? See, this is like 7 days and then 7 days. So it turns, each click, it turns one index. Whereas a lot of these double language dates, it may be like that. No, it's never like that. It has to be alternating. So it would go, in the normal course of things, if you put this day disk into a 2789 without the -1, it would go through it would go from Sunday to whatever the Sunday is in the other language, and so that's not going to work. Okay, so that means I want to just preserve this movement. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see a couple things. One, we can preserve this movement. Try to restore it quickly with the parts from the Ginsbo-matic. Switch out the dial and the hands. If it's running, then it's not oil drenched like the Valgine movement. So that could just be a straight replacement without the full restoration. But to get to that, I have to take the dial and hands off of it anyway, so let's do that. I keep some pre-cut plastic bag material for doing this. Lay that over the dial and hands. have some hand lifters. I don't have a way, well, I could put the stem and crown. Yeah, let's do that. I was going to say I don't have a way to set the time differently, but there are two ways to set the time. One is just to force it using some Rodico or a plastic prod just to rotate it from the front. The other is to insert the stem and crown from the other movement, which is probably almost certainly going to be compatible. But might as well find that out now. So, oh no, I noticed this is actually, this movement is missing the keyless works also. So that's weird though. What's going on there? If you look at that, I recognize this stem also. I have hundreds of these. These are these ETA stems that have, I think it's called a helicoil or a helic something. Instead of a square catch thing, it's helical. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to set the time that way. That also gives me a chance. I pretty much know. You can see here that this movement is similar in terms of depth, because it's the same movement, but just with a different day disk. It's missing, this one's missing this plate and the, sorry, the keyless works under there. I mean, the other one is. But this has everything. But I don't need to change, I don't need to put that stem in this one. So I'm going to... Okay, so I said there's two ways to move this. One would be with the stem, to move the hands. And what I wanted, the reason I want to move the hands is I want to put the hands in position so that I can lift them off. Right now they're all askew. So the way to do that is, one way to do that is force the second hand out of the way and then rotate them in a hand manually. And it's going to rotate the hour hand as it would, because they're geared together. And then we can move the second hand back. Now they're kind of stacked, so that when you do, oops, the second hand moved. The plastic is obviously to avoid scratching the dial. You also want to not rotate these hand lifters. You don't want the corners to dig into it even with the plastic there. This is an interesting dial because it has no branding. It had some bubbles on the paint here, and I suspect it was either repainted, but probably not. It was probably just like a factory second, so they never put the mark on it. Okay, so now to remove the dial, I noticed before this has these dial feet clamps that they swing. I just want to not be putting my hands on top of things here. So the dial foot is right here, and the clamping, you pull it out by pulling it like this, and that, see, it was pressed against the dial foot there, so that side's loose. And this side is kind of under this plate, but you can do the same thing. Ugh, I do not love that. I don't want to put my thumb on that balance. Okay. Dial should come off. It's possible I pushed that clamp back accidentally with my finger. Okay. Oh, so you can see, that's very interesting. Very cool. So this is Geo. It's weird. It's very similar to French, but it must be Italian. Sab, Dom, Lundi, Mardi, Mercredi, Geo, Vendredi, Sab. Tell me if that's Italian. It's not Spanish, right? I don't know. Okay. So there's something very exciting about that to me, which is I like these date discs that alternate, because you can, they almost by definition have to be like that though, right? If it's a 2-day, how do the other ones work with two? It has to be like that. Okay. Now, to get this day, oh, no, so the next thing is the dial and the hands are now protected. And so I can flip it over and put it on the movement holder. And what I was going to say is that there's a little cutter ring, I think it's called here. So that's how you get that day wheel off, but we don't have to take that off right now. All we have to do is, oh, there's another thing that these movements sometimes have, which is a spacer. Yeah. There's a whole spacer thing going on here. This is a stamped plate. So that essentially is not essentially, it is a dial spacer. It keeps the dial above the the wheels so that they don't scrape on the dial. What we can do is just check that the dial pins are the same on these. So I have to figure out where 3 o'clock is. So what happened is the spacer ring turned a little bit. So it's no longer lined up. Now it's lined up again. I mean, this is going to be fine. This is just, I'm just checking it. 2789, 2789-1, they're going to be the same. Right. That's great. So the thing is, before I put the movement in the movement holder, I want to remove this ring because the movement holder is designed very specifically to, watch me eat my words, to hold the movement okay. It's not exactly right, but I have a few of these 11.5s. Did I just go too high? Okay. Now, the question is, how do we fix what's missing in the keyless works? The barrel. So again, this is the movement I bought from Neardan, and this was missing already the automatic winding works. So this was a spare I had from, I don't even know the source of it. And then this was my spare parts from the Ginsbo-matic. And this, I've already taken the keyless works out of this, but that means it's loose in the parts there. And I have the barrel here, and the barrel is kind of the first thing I'm going to look at. I also have this original, see this piece is, it says 2798, which is not even the right movement number on my spare movement. So, but I already have that piece in the original one. I wish this was more stable. Maybe I will put that in a regular movement holder. This, in theory, is going to have the same problem, slipping around. See if I can pull this barrel out without removing that. No. I think I've already, this movement is already in pieces without really keeping track of where those screws go. But just in case I need these parts, I'm going to, it's obvious where that bridge plate goes, but the screws for it are not as obvious. So I'm going to put those back. Or not. Gotta get that thing level, because I find all this, everything I'm doing right now, super fun. Because I'm starting to get into this state of concentration that's just like focused on this stuff. Okay, so now I can get the barrel. There was no balance or pallet fork, but they're here. Okay, so anyway, now the barrel is going to move over to this one. Was that piece there? Yeah, so we can look at the escape wheel on the target is present, so we in theory we don't need this escape wheel. We don't need this. That's the, is that the first wheel? I'm not sure. And now this, I was a little bit reckless with this, but this plate is pretty much down to just those two screws. Everything else is off it, and the jewels. Oh, and this part of the keyless works. Okay, let's get that on a proper. I kind of like this old school movement holder better. I can already see, to get the barrel, I'm going to have to do the same thing here. this is a whole nother, what is that? There's no power coming in, but that's moving nicely. This is our target 2789-1. I see some things, some dirt there. I should just clean this before I put it together, take it apart, put it together. The whole keyless works thing. Okay, so what I can do, I have this movement can be my reference for that area. So you can see the keyless works, you got all this stuff going on over here. There's a plate, there's a kind of automatic winding related wheel on top of that. Or is that the ratchet? But anyway, I can examine all this and figure out where those parts are over here when the time comes. First, I got to get the barrel in there. I have a little demagnetizer back there. So these screws are going to go right back, because I just have to remove this bridge plate. Remove this. If that's the first wheel, that's second and third wheels. Remove the second. At least the bridge plate. Yeah. Anyway, the objective is to get the barrel in there. I don't want to break a pivot here. Oh boy. So I see the escape wheel came out of its pivot over here. That should be okay. Now I gotta put these guys back. You know, that's the second hand goes on that. Is that right? It seems weird. Fourth wheel. That's the fourth wheel, third wheel, second wheel. Sorry. Yeah, so the pinions on these are at the bottom. So the first wheel is on the barrel, second, third, fourth, escape. The escape pinion interaction is right here. And then the pinion on this is just on the flip side of the wheel. But the pinion on this is on the bottom. It reaches down to the bottom of this second wheel. And then the first wheel is basically the top of the barrel. And then as long as those bottom pivots are all seated, this plate should go back on. Now I'm just looking because you can see into these jewels if the pinion is, or if the pivot is in there or not. And the one that's not right now is the escape wheel. And without that going in, this one's not going to go if this side's lower because it's like levering across the top of that pivot. Actually, that's kind of working. They're all in now. But this side, they're you know, locating pins on the left side here, so I need to hold this down and try to press that down onto the locating pins. Still a little bit high, so if I touch this, it's gonna, let's see what happens. What I want to make sure is that the escape wheel is not, it's hard to see the bottom of the escape wheel, but basically should be all right, but it's not. I can see that pivot's fine, that pivot, that pivot. Everything's fine. Okay, good. Now that if we put a little bit of power in the barrel or touch the barrel, it should drive it. But I think I'm more comfortable putting those screws in first, so it's not loose when I try that test. Okay, so I think if I drive the barrel in the right direction, we should get some wants to go. Okay, there, I'm driving the barrel with my finger and power is flowing. So that's what I wanted to see. The barrel is wonky. It needs to be locked down with the plate that covers the keyless works and blah, blah, blah. So the next thing is to find that plate and attach it. So there I have these parts. This is really exciting because when I disassembled this, or actually, I was originally going to clean this movement, but it was it had so many problems, which maybe we'll see them here. But this is, I'm pretty sure this is, we need this plate for the barrel. I see the keyless works top side here. Can need that. Oh, the thing I was saying exciting is that now that this is all mixed up, I just have to figure out what I need. But I feel comfortable with that. And it's a challenge. Plus we have the other movement as reference if it gets confusing. I did want to try to show you what's completely broken here. That gear. That's the problem. See, that's missing a couple teeth. And it's because water got in this watch and then so much corrosion that the pinion broke off. So that was why I was going to do a whole restoration on it, and I was like, well, you know what, it's not worth it. I would have to find that part. That's why I started looking at 2789, other things with 2789 movement. But anytime you part one out, you're using it for the other one, and that movement that I just showed you the parts from was so messed up that it should have been the donor as we're using it here and not the donee. I did run these through the cleaning machine though, so even though there's corrosion there, it's kind of ready to go. I just want to make sure this seems almost too easy. That's gonna sit on there. Oh, I'm missing something though, right? Figure it out as we go. All right, this guy actually, I got this backwards. Is that gonna fall right down there? La la la. Okay, so this is fun, but I know, like, on the one hand, this lever needs to be in this groove, but if I move that lever over, that wheel will fall. So for now I have to kind of do it wrong until I put the stem through it. Do I want to use this stem? Now see, that stem, it wants to go into a hole right here in the tip. But in order for that to go, it needs to be adjusted on the other side. And I feel like there's something missing here. I think I have to get the reference movement going. Okay, you can see I'm gonna have to open this up. Automatic works comes off here and here. So the reason I'm doing this just so I can see I think watchmaking is kind of like, as a hobby, it's kind of like a puzzle for 60-year-olds. The younger people are going to take offense to that, but it's like, it's a good exercise. It's a good brain exercise if you're just trying to figure this crap out. Okay, so now I can see what parts I'm going to need on top of this. And I can kind of see almost underneath it, but I think I'm going to have to remove that. Is that backwards? No. Wait. Yeah, that's a backwards threaded. Oh, that's the whole screw. Okay. So this is interesting. This is what I have to look for in my donor parts. I can keep going. What the hey? Is that? Yeah. Okay, so that weird oval egg-shaped thing is there. But we need to see what's missing in here on the donor. And there could be springs involved, but let's get got this guy right. And because there might be a spring involved, I use this technique. So what I'm worried about is that this is the click, and I don't know how the click spring is secured. I don't think it's going to fly out, but this is going to try to click in. So the wheel might fly a little bit. Like that. Okay, so here we can see you do have a spring here, the click spring. The click pivots in there, and then there's just a screw there. And I don't think there's anything else underneath here. This was the over-oiled movement, by the way. So, okay, so then this thing kind of served its purpose of holding that back. So this guy didn't get too far away. I can set that aside while I search for those parts. that is probably the spring, but there's multiple springs here, so we'll have to check that. Could be this one. Slightly different sizes. And then, what else did I see? The click itself. It's not that big, right? It's not that. Maybe it is, though. Probably is. Okay, so now let's go back. Look at the donor again. I need to look if this part is... No. That click has a pin up and a pin down. I'll take another look for that. Oh, I see it now. Pin up, pin down, tiny part. Okay, so then I can go back to target. Okay, and then the spring is going to probably fit in there. That. I will look at the smallest spring and see if that seems like it's the right one. Yes. So this larger spring is going to go back in the parts. Small spring. Okay, I'm going to need a screw. I'm going to need this screw, and this screw. So how do we identify those by size? I think I have too many in the donor department to, let's see how, oftentimes all these screws are a little bit different. I think the easiest thing is going to be to match them one at a time. So I'm going to first look at this one. Okay, so this is our target. That's what we're looking for in the donor department. It's got 3 threads and it's quite tiny and no tip. Could be this. No. Could be. Looks good. Let's see if there's anything else that looks better. So I have a feeling those other two Okay, so let's just go try putting this one in. Seems fine. Those seem like they're going to be the same, don't they? But the best way to know is to look at them. Okay, so did I put this one back? No. Now we can look at this one. That's the same. Same also. Okay, so oops. Okay. So I think this is one. This is one. Damn, why'd that turn like that? Okay, so the problem is I bounced this around a little bit and now the spring is misplaced. Just look at this anyway. Gonna need to get, oh, I need to get that screw, but I also need to find that spring. I think it probably fell into the movement. Unless did I leave it sitting over here? No. I feel like I should put that back right now. Okay, but I need the... Gonna need that screw on top of there. Okay, I've got multiple levels of protection here, right? I got the wooden edged desk, and there was not anything that would have shot that spring out. It just wiggled a little bit, like just bounced. So I think I'm gonna find it inside here somewhere. Perhaps I should put these other two screws partly at least. Okay, now this should allow me to tip the whole thing upside down. And there it is. I couldn't see where it was, but that's what I thought had happened. That spring is very small. I don't really have a plan for how to wait, it can just be like that. Pressure comes. Okay, now the problem is that gear is going to push on there. It has to push it back. That's fine. The finger should kind of never be never be used. When the finger comes into the shot, you're out of scale. The finger is not at the right scale for this work. Something is inhibiting me from doing a 180 here. Okay, I don't want to go too tight with this either because, oh wait, that's a reverse threaded. So these are not tight yet because on the bottom side of the keyless works, the pawl lever or whatever it's called is not properly, oh, that's what I forgot about. That's what I hate about these movements with the day and date. So what I want to do is use the other stem. There's no way to get that in there, right? I really want to try to do it from this side, but hey, wait, this guy can stay on the plate. Right? And this plate, I can lift this plate up. I can look at this again if there's any way. It should be not that difficult. Let's see. So what if I pull this out like this? See, what has to happen is that has to be held forward. Okay, so what? I need to push this forward like that. There's no way to get in there. Where can I push that from? Can I push it here? Doesn't help. What if I just put the gear in by itself? Okay, I see the possibility. If it's not clear what the issue is, I don't want to have to take both of those day and date wheels off, because there's a lot of mechanical stuff going on under there. So I want to try to catch this. Normally, if you can get under there, you can see the back of the date wheel under there. If you can get under there, it's no problem. You just reset that lever. But like this, I have to kind of... I have to catch it in this groove right now and then push everything forward. It's not going to be that hard. See, I'm doing it right there. Grab that. I think I have a plan. Use this to hold it down. Push it forward while continuing to hold it down. Yes. And then slip that other gear in there. And then I can slip the stem through there. The stem has to go through, you missed all that, so exciting. The stem has to go through and lock into the hole. Okay, the stem doesn't want to move forward because of this little guy. Seems good almost, but this needs to get over that bump. It's not done, right? See, this guy has to come back like that. This has to go in. this has to be held down while that goes in. Damn it. And this has to be held back. I should just push it down. Ugh, so annoying. As soon as I let up on this, everything's going to pop out again. See, the problem is the tip of that stem is not in the hole yet. So everything just... Oh wait, this is actually the guy that... I don't think I can do this without taking the date wheel off. I think something is messed up. One of these springs is out of alignment now because it's not springing. Shoot. Okay. Well, one thing good about that is that I don't have a problem with that moving anymore. Damn it. Okay, there's one more stupid thing I want to check. The tip of this crown, it should go into that hole right there. Yeah, it does. And interestingly, see, and then it locks. We got to get all that crap in there lined up correctly before that happens. So again, the theory, I'm going to try one more time this method. Hold this down, push it forward just enough to slip this gear in there. Get this in there. Needs to go through. Maybe I'm pushing down too hard. Ah, yes. Okay. Now I can kind of check if it's working. It's not. Why not? Maybe it is. That could be a quick date, and that could be a quick day. This should be winding, but the winding is not on it yet. And this is setting. Yeah. That's good. Okay. Oh, man. Okay, so where did my... Oh, the spring and everything is still screwed on there. That's great. Three screws. That's our winding. We're going to need this, whatever that is, ratchet wheel or crown wheel. That screw is not very beautiful. Eaten away by corrosion. Let's put that here for now and use a different one. Okay, so what I'm looking for now is a replacement for this guy. That's not it. Okay, is that guy the same? I think so. Looks smaller, actually. No, they're the same, right? Yeah. Okay, so this can go here. It's also corroded, but at least it's not got a bite out of it. All right, so then there was a brass gear on top of that. Get the reference again. So that's just, that gear might be kind of in bad shape on the donor too. Let's see. I don't even see that thing. But you can also start looking for the screw for it. Small teeth, very simple, no holes. Oh wait, where's our shoot? Oh, that's okay. I'll get it. Not that. It's smaller than that. Could be this one or this. And I wonder, that gear, I had stolen some gears from my this thing for my gear making practice. I think it's this one. Right? I wasn't expecting it to be square, but I think that might be it. So yeah, because if you look at the, yeah, it is square. Okay. And then the screw for it, it's either that one or that one. I think it's the one that has a taller profile. Not sure. Let's take this out. Well, you know what? I think it's the one that is not the taller profile. But I don't know. Maybe it's neither of those. Try one. So what happens? Can I wind it? There you go. So then the automatic winding works, which I don't even know where this came from. What's this? Gotta look at the reference again. Got this square hole over here. Nothing. Okay. I should put this back together. But this guy's intact and running, so can't complain about that. Actually, let's just go ahead and try to put this together first. Do I have screws for this, though? I can see they're black. I think it's got 2 screw holes, and I think they go like this. That seems good, but is it actually winding it? Yeah, the winding takes place right down in here. Yep, you can see it winding right there. Tiny movement in this wheel when this goes back and forth, but that's how it works. Okay, so then these 2 screws in my prototype, or in my model, were black. They probably were blued at some point, but I did see some black screws in here. Hopefully it's these 2. Very cool. Oh, so this movement is ready for ready to be turned into the Valgine. I'm so psyched about that. But first, I gotta put these parts back together. Do not do that. Okay. I think I'm comfortable with this process from the last one. Basically, you gotta tilt this like that, catch it, hold it down, push it, cap it. And that's reverse threaded 1.4 millimeter, I would say. Reverse threaded means you turn it this way. Okay, and then I think I'm going to switch back to this movement holder. Doesn't like it. Why not? Because there's too much business going on there. Should be fine. Too big. That's working. Now the stem, I should probably keep that stem even though I have a huge box of these stems, it's kind of good to keep stem with the movement if it'll go in there. Yeah. It would also allow me to try to put a wind on it. Same problem. I don't feel like messing around with that. This is a stem. I know I have a lot of those actually. One thing we could look at though while this is going is that just put this. Oh, there's two things actually. Can we see how much effort is required to get under the day wheel. See, even with the day out, the date wheel is still blocking access to the keyless works area. And this is the movement that's oil drenched. It really can't function like that. It's a single, it's the, I do feel like I should just try to put this day wheel back on it though. Because there's two things. One is, this is how long it was sitting in that oil. How you put it on, how you pull back that spring. I'm curious just to know that. And then the clip for it, I need to find somewhere. Maybe it's on there? No. Okay, one step at a time. To get this, oh, I see. So there's a special tab. So you have to make these things understanding that people are going to run into this problem, right? So push right here somehow as it goes down. There you go. Except for I failed. Maybe it's just pushing it in. Okay, so in any case, then the next thing would be the dial washer. I'm not comfortable with that. I don't feel like I solved that question yet. I'll try this with my tiniest screwdriver. Now I wonder if it's possible. Let's see. See, I mentioned this has a cotter ring right there, but this looks a little bit different to me. I want to see if this has the cutout for that ring. And also, this did have this dial washer. Why would it need that? If it had that ring, I don't think it would need that. That dial washer is what's holding that down. So I think it's safe to put this. Okay, wait, but this one goes. This is the one we took off, right? Okay. Okay, so there's another thing, another lesson about these guys. This is the whole movement from the Valgine, and this movement has a different spacing, dial spacing mechanism, which is fine. We can transfer this to the other one, but basically this is a big these guys need to go on our new movement. And then this will go on this one because we're gonna put the old dial on this. Right. Is it not wanting to go for some reason? Maybe they changed the design in the updated movement. Yes. So the 89 requires those, and the 89-1 requires this method. So where's my... Should still be the correct spacing to get the dial at the right height, so that's not a problem. Switch to the Valgine. Okay, and then catching those dial feet. First of all, we need to pull it out so the dial can sit down. Then we need to push it in. Screwdriver's 0.5 millimeter. It's not strong enough for the pushing. What's happening here? Oh, it's because I'm pushing down on this seconds hand. Pinion or whatever. Just gouged it into the casing cushion. Okay, so that's exciting. Now, these screws. Oh, so oof, this is hard to do. Let's try to put this completely back together. Hands. Okay, but to do the hands, I need the stem in there and the crown. So let's wait on this for a minute. Those hands were these guys. Okay, so I need to find the midnight and all that business. Quick set date is working, but day is not. So that's too bad. Let's see though. It might slip into place when the day and date change. No. Oh wait, I don't know if that would. I guess we gotta take a look at that. Can't let that slide. So how much do I need to do here? I don't think I have to take the back off. I have to take the dial. I'm just looking down in this area right now, just to see what I can see without even removing the dial. I mean the date ring. See how that compares with this. Hard to say. All right, so let me do this while I'm at it. Now, what did I decide here? This didn't have the ring, cotter ring for that, unless it turns up. Okay, now the next thing is, I think this dial should just go on there to preserve this thing. Okay, so did this open up again? No. So the problem with this movement is this is the one that's overly oiled. But we're getting there. Back to this guy. The problem is the date ring, something is not right. So if we do quick set day, it's fine, but date is not fine. So anyway, the thing with this is that we got to remove this cotter ring thing. Ugh, don't like that. Need a smaller, I guess this probably would work. Oh, yeah, I know. I hate scratching that like that. It's not in a cosmetic place, but the point is you can pull, you don't have to push. Now this could be the same problem. As soon as I pull this up, the driver for it is going to move in. I really don't want to scratch this dial or day ring. Seems like the problem is actually over here. No. Okay, this way it does the quick set on the day. This way it wants to, can't. Where's the problem? Okay, gonna have to take a look under here. Maybe it doesn't have quick set. No, it should be right there. That should be the mechanism, right? And then this should turn. Oh, there we can see it. Actually, that's the problem. This was what I was getting into from underneath. Basically, these ETA movements are very sensitive in this area. So it's never getting the right setting position. That is what it needed. And then also, let's see here. Winding. Oops, gotta be careful about those. Damn it. That's basically it, though. I think that will solve it. That guy has to go under. So both of these have to go in there. Get under, so when the slide happens, they slide under. Very cool. And this guy, I think that's okay. Okay, can try, no, yeah, we can try the quick. That's winding, middle is quick set, that's day, and that's date. Yes. Now we get the same thing here, which is how do we get this? Oh, maybe it's not so bad on this one. Yeah, there's a spring-driven. So this guy. I think that's fine. It was. Stop it. Not that complicated, but so just to be clear, this guy has to be pushed back as this goes down. Now, is it kind of okay now or not? I think it is, but basically I can try sticking it down on both sides with some Rodico. But it popped up, so that would work if it was down. Okay, it's down. Please just do what I want you to do. Okay. Now, did that ring? Why'd that come up? That shouldn't have come up. Okay, there's something wrong. God darn it. Okay. There's the teeth on the bottom side of this needed to be caught under the. I didn't notice that, but it's possible they could be fixed. I can't believe it wasn't under there, but See, it popped up over that. That's when I was peeling off my freaking... Should be okay. It's just... I guess that's made like that for loading. It won't pop up if the dial's on it. My experience with ETA movements before is they don't have these cutouts for those teeth to come up through, but that's actually so that you can remove the, it's an improvement. Just didn't know they had made that improvement. The theory behind the Rodico is still good. It's just that it happened to be in a bad position. I do not want to slip, scratch anything. Magnetism. Okay. Okay, now I want to be careful lifting the Rodico. Now I want to put the dial on it. I saw that it was, everything was working. I want to put the dial on it before, so in case that date ring pops up again. I don't want that to happen. So with these pull out dial feet catches, you got to make sure they're already pulled out before you try to put the dial in. It's easy for you to knock those handling or movement. It's easy to push them in. They're always going to push in, and then they're not going to let the dial go on. You have to make sure they're both sticking out. Oops, this guy has to go on. Okay, now I can see the quick day and date working. And I can pull all the way out and go until we have a date change. Uh-oh. Are you kidding me? Damn it. That's working, but it was a bit weird. Why did it only... That's not right. Damn it. That's how you get familiar with the movement. Okay, I can't force that. I gotta look at that again. Okay, so I think okay, what is going on here? Time setting. Not be so complicated. slipping there. But that's just because the plate's not on there. It almost feels like it's a cannon pinion problem. Is that turning? But is it, what's happening here? I think that. Maybe that's upside down? I don't think so. No. Hmm. It's like the cannon pinion is too tight. So the cannon pinion on this type of ETA movement is these two it's bound up. Bound up. So the way this cannon pinion works is it's on there. Maybe it was just jammed, maybe it needs a little grease. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens with a little grease on the cannon pinion. Oh boy. Jeez. You know, after I do this, I'm not going to be able to put it back on the watch without removing. Basically, though, what I want to do is see if this turns. Yeah. I can put it back on. I just have to take it off. And I have to put it on in place the same way I took it off. These two can't be together because you get too much leverage. Okay, so we do this. Pop this out. Or not. No, that's not going to pop out like that. Gotta lift. Shoot. This needs to go in a bigger hole. Don't have a big enough hole. Can try. I can lift that off, it's fine. Magnetism. Let's try to go back to what I did before. So is that it? Yeah, got lucky with that. Crap. Okay, so now you can see the problem is it's never going to work. I can get this in place. But to actually have the cannon pinion stick on top of that, it's not designed for that. It's not going to want to snap in there because it's got nowhere to go. Maybe I'm wrong. No. Oh, so the other question is that gonna solve my problem? No, because this is all jammed up. But why is that all jammed up? No. Think about this. All right, yeah, this doesn't move. That's what the point is. Yeah, this will work. I know I'm not making any sense. I just have to talk to myself. Pretend you're not here. Yeah. Okay, so here's the point. You can't press that cannon pinion back on at this point when it's mounted, because it has no, you would need to have a little spacer under here. So you had somewhere you could push it to. So I have to remove this, which means that this spring could go flying just to get it under there. But it needs to be mounted first. So this is the same thing, like if this just has some place to go, it's no problem. You just press it on and it's fine. But here we have to remove this. Jeez. Okay, that spring, that's a double spring. Okay, that's cool. That's kind of a good design. All I have to do is lift this off, put the cannon pinion on, put this back on, put the top back on this spring. I have no idea how that was going. I kind of see it's upside down. think that's it. Yeah. Okay. Actually, already, no, I need to put this, need to put it together. It does go like that. Oh no, wait, that needs to go on first, right? Okay, and then all this stuff, I should grease this. Stem. Oh, I don't think that's cannon pinions, stem. Keyless. It's not the stem, it's the keyless works. $95.04. Oh. That's, I don't know if I want that grease there. Guess it's too late. Okay, I gotta put the top back on. I need to put a little 9504 right here. That's too much. Just gotta screw that down. Okay, now that should winding, quick, setting. Yeah. I did it, I believe. Okay. Beautiful. Right, so here's where we need to use that method of popping it in there. And then, oh, that's cool. So the spring holds it in the 50, where's my 50? One of these should be very tiny. Okay, so see, that should kind of push it that way, yeah. Maybe I should test the quick set. Okay. Okay, so then the day wheel. Some temporary gently remove those. Okay, same thing. I don't want to, now this time I'm 99% sure it's okay. Just a couple little dust bits. And then back to our dial. Open up the clamps. Place the dial. I don't think I want that high. I want it to actually be low. Okay. Amplitude now is looking a bit low. Okay, but now the next thing, now we should have everything. Gonna go until midnight. I think I just turned it, so I think I have to go like full 24 hours. Crap. Okay. Well, it's getting there. Okay, but why didn't I gotta keep going to see if it changes to 5. Tuesday the 5th. Well, it's happening kind of over the course of 12 hours. Is that right? What if we do a quick set to just make sure it's seems like it's taking the number of hours to change. Sunday, Sunday the 1st. So you tried to go I don't know what to make of that. It's beyond my capability to figure that out right now. I don't know how long I've been doing this, but it seems like it's been hours. I think for now I can't just keep going forever, so I need to put the hands on it. Mm-hmm. So, now I can see if it's 12 hours or it's only taking 6 hours to change. Okay, let's see if it changes. This is only, midnight till 6 a.m. It's funny. I have to read about about that problem. Maybe it's something. Maybe it's a lubrication thing. It's not able to go far enough. But in any case, what's going on here? I need to case this. Remove the stem, put it in the case with the case ring. Is that going to work? Is that right, or does it need to go the other way? Shoot. Oh, after the stem's out, I can do that. Maybe that's the right way, though. I think that's correct. Yeah. Okay. So stem. And then that seems weird, but let's see. Now, is there any use of the screws here? Yeah, there is. All right, so there's the final verdict. And the date today is, what is it, Tuesday the 12th of November? So I'll set it for Monday the 11th. And then I'll roll it forward till it changes to Tuesday the 12th. Maybe that'll help me learn French, because it first switches to, oh no, that's Italian, we decided. Tuesday the 12th. And it's noon. Go around to 7:47. Oh, the second hand's fell off. I didn't really pay attention. Shit. I was not really thinking about that. I just pressed it on lightly and just was like, yep, it's on. Mm-hmm. Jeez, what's that? That's a half. I knew there was something wrong there. And this is 1. Okay, in theory, I don't have to remove that holder. Just need to put the second hand on better. Upside down. It's not that simple. It's not going to stay on. So then that's a little sticking thing. This is, I think, the easiest way to fix this problem. Use a very small hole on this clamp. Or even no hole. Close it. It feels like it's squeezing it. Let's see, if there's nothing in there, yeah, that was squeezing it. Now, that's good. I could feel it much more tension. The hands are kind of dirty. And that's going to be it for now. think this strap said Valgine on it. Maybe not. Put it on the time grapher. So remember this is not a, obviously this movement hasn't been properly serviced. In theory, I just want to see if it would work, if that fix would work. Amplitude 194. Can you see that? A minute a day, 194. Beat error is pretty good. But it needs to be 50 seconds a day. It needs to be cleaned and lubricated. But it's running. It's keeping time. There you go. Beautiful Valgine ETA 2789-1. It just needs to be properly serviced after all those hours. But I actually love this watch. All right, I'll clean up. So the other thing, actually, I need to put the hands back on this. Oh boy. So this dial might actually come in handy for the other movement, the Miraxol movement. Gosh, 286. Okay. Now, this movement, can it go in here? What else? Movement holder. Where's that other movement holder? That's strange. Losing my mind. Every little project, you get back a bunch of containers. That's fantastic. The thing I really want to do is retire this project. So I have the Valgine project, now it's done. Until it gets cleaned and lubricated, but that's not really a project in the same sense. Although this is now. All right. I think that's it. Thanks for watching. That's how it's done.